So I'm sure this is nothing new to a lot of you guys, but if you haven't tried Ezekiel bread yet, give it a try if you can find it in your grocery store. I buy it at HEB. I know they sell it at Trader Joe's or like organic, fresh food markets. But it is a whole sprouted grain bread. Macros are pretty good. About 0 grams of fat, 15 grams of carbs, with I think 4 grams of fiber and 4 grams of protein. That's per slice. So you keep it frozen because it doesn't stay as fresh as long. But this is the sesame one. And the way I do it is just keep it in my freezer, and then when I'm ready to use it, I just throw it in the toaster. So I like this for sandwiches just because the texture is pretty good, and then the sesame flavors and sesame seeds on the side just turn out really well. And then this is just chicken tenderloins made like that chicken and waffles recipe. So this is cornflake breaded fried chicken, really easy. It only takes about 30 minutes to cook because the chicken tenderloins are really thin. So I'm going to make this. This is 10 ounces pre-cooked, so about 8 ounces after cooked. Throw on 2 slices of Ezekiel bread with some arugula, tomato, Swiss cheese, and then a little bit of ketchup and a little bit of this French honey mustard. You can find this stuff too. So for honey mustard, honey mustard is typically pretty dense in calories. This, per serving, it's only 10 calories, about 1 gram of carb, maybe less. So I don't even weigh this stuff out. I just throw it on top. So that chicken going on this sandwich. So here's the final product. This is post-workout right now. Just got done doing a shoulders and bicep workout. I'll put the macros on the screen, and then in the description box below, I'll link the video I did where it's a chicken and waffles recipe showing you how to do the cornflake breaded chicken. So try it out, guys, and I hope you enjoy this video.
Picture yourself in a living room, your pipe and slippers set out for you. I know you think that it ain't too far, but I hear a call of a lifetime ring.
Alright guys, so here's something you haven't seen in quite a long time. Shoulder and arm workout, specifically biceps. And for not hitting upper body for 3 weeks, I still retained a lot of size and I'm still staying fairly lean. Now getting into chapter 3 of this nonlinear periodization training book and how to build your workout. This focused on acute program variables, and what I want to point out is if you're just getting into workout or you're getting into building your own program, just remember that every program is very specific towards your goals, whether you're trying to be an endurance athlete, a bodybuilder, or a powerlifter. And while a lot of the training seems very similar, there's small acute differences that you can incorporate to make the biggest differences. So this chapter covered exercise choice, exercise order, number of sets, intensity, and length of rest periods. So should you choose machines or free weights? Now I think machines are great for 2 things. 1, they're good for beginners to learn the mechanics of the exercise, and 2, they are really good at targeting muscle groups. So unlike a multi-joint free weight exercise where you're recruiting a lot of muscle fibers, you can use machines to really target, say, the bicep or the chest or the back, stuff like that. And I use machines and I use free weights. Typically I'll do my multi-joint exercise prior, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But what you want to do is start hitting the muscle from different angles in a hypertrophy approach. So try to do, say, bench, incline bench, cable flies. Hit the muscle from different angles to build that dimensional development of the muscle. Or you can vary your foot position, your hand position. This all recruits different muscle groups. For exercise order, typically a lot of people do multi-joint exercises prior to single joint exercises. So for example, if you're doing a leg workout, you're probably going to start with squats and then do your extensions and curls towards the end. And why you do this is because the multi-joint exercises incorporate more muscle fiber recruitment, and it just emphasizes total body strength and power. Now, if you're an endurance athlete and that's your end state, that's your goal, you might want to try doing multi-joint exercises at the end of your workout, because that's at the point where you're fatigued and your body has accumulated more metabolic byproducts, and that's your goal. Now, for number of sets, studies have shown that 8 sets for each muscle group trained in a given period has been shown effective. For intensity, I like to use RPE scale, so it's the rate of perceived exertion, and anything really above 60% is going to be effective in training. Now, everyone talks about total volume, and Lane Norton touches on this a lot. If you train over 60% and you're still going to, say, an RPE 7, 8, 9, you're going to be effective in that training protocol. Rest periods, now this is big and different between powerlifters and bodybuilders. Typically, if you're a powerlifter, you have maybe 3 minutes between each set because that's the time it takes for that anaerobic energy source to replenish. For bodybuilders, probably a minute in between sets, and that has an effect on growth hormone.
All right, let's see how much I weigh. I haven't weighed myself for probably a few weeks. So when I ended my cut, I was 211. 212.4, which isn't that much of a gain, but I jumped macros up a little bit, so my current macros are 250 protein, 450 carb, and 80 to 85 fat. It's really hard to diet right now, and I want to, but I'm about to go to the field for gunnery for one, so I'll be mainly living off MREs and not, working out as much or to the standard activity like push-up, sit-up stuff. So I'll be gone, in the field for a week at a time here and there. And then after gunnery, it'll be, August, September time frame. That's when I'll do a small cut again. So probably, I'd say maybe 8-week cut, getting down to the low 200s, high 190s. My brother is dieting right now, and you'll see when I go home and we do videos together. He's like crazy lean right now. He dieted down. He got his carbs down to, I think, 200, and then he decided he didn't want to diet anymore. So he jumped carbs back to 400, and he still kept losing weight, and still is losing weight at 400 grams of carbs. So he could do a show probably in 6 weeks if he wants, but I think he's going to do a powerlifting meet instead. So this is my current conditioning. Even though I'm not trying to cut, I'm still staying fairly lean, and the gym's going good. I've been focusing a lot more on higher reps, like I'm talking about in my videos, with really one day focused on a 3 to 5 rep range. So that's like my power strength day. But the ego in the gym, I cut it out. I don't care, what weight I'm using. I'm kind of getting back to my bodybuilding roots and using those practices and approaches.
Late night breaks, I hear the tires squeal. Red light can't stop, so I spin the wheel. My world goes back before I feel an angel lift me up, and I
Alright, so I learned the hard way, don't fill a shaker bottle with Monster and pre-workout and shake it. Literally the top exploded off while I was shaking it. And there's pre-workout all over my truck. So I have staff duty this weekend. I feel like I'm literally telling you I have staff duty all the time, but when you're a lieutenant at a unit that doesn't have many lieutenants, you end up doing it more often than none. So I came into work early today, hit the gym. I did legs here on post, which I rarely ever do, use the gym here on post because it gets really full. And then I'm going into work here for the next 24 hours. But I wanted to cover some post-gym thoughts like I have done in previous videos. I haven't done for a while. But before I tell you that, I also want to tell you this. So, you ever hear someone in the gym talking about something that is completely wrong, but they're so confident when they talk about it? So I heard, I think, the best thing I've ever heard today. I heard someone saying that if you mix pineapples with Ready Whip, the acidity in the pineapples breaks down the Ready Whip and the fruit, and it passes through your digestive system, and you absorb no calories, so it's a calorie-free meal. And he said this so confidently to other people, and they were like, oh, that's awesome, I'm going to start doing that. But I just walked away. I didn't say anything. But post-gym thoughts. So a lot of you guys know I'm in the military. I'm in the Army specifically. And I am a first lieutenant, infantry platoon leader. And, I haven't been in the Army long, and majority of my time in the Army has been spent in TRADOC, so training environments, because as an infantry, lieutenant, you're expected to come to your first unit with the badges, tabs, and schools that, look good. Ranger tabs and airborne, air assault stuff. So I haven't gone on any deployments, no big major training events with my unit, but I kind of want to exclude myself from this topic I'm about to discuss and bring up. I always knew that people in the military have made, huge sacrifices, and not until I got to a unit and started being around NCOs and soldiers that I realized the sacrifice they make is actually like a lot bigger than I thought. It's huge. They spend days, weeks, months, years away from their family and kids, and it's something that people maybe in the civilian sector just don't understand how big it is. And it's crazy to think this is something you volunteer for. You're not You're not voluntold. You're not chosen for this. You volunteer to be in the military, make these sacrifices. So, I mean, like the soldiers and NCOs around me and units around Fort Hood, where I'm currently at, I just realized how big of a sacrifice they make. And the reason I'm excluding myself from this is because I haven't made any huge sacrifices yet. So if you're in the military, you're thinking about joining the military, you have a family member that's in the military, I just wanted to say thank you for the sacrifices you make, because it's not only the service member that makes the sacrifices, but it's their family as well. Their kids, their wife, their husband, parents. So, you know, a pat on the back to you, and the sacrifices you make are bigger than a lot of people will ever imagine. So typically when I have staff duty, I make all my food and pack it the day prior. But this one I left meal forward up to whatever I want to do. And I was going to go to Chipotle, but it's a little far. So I got a meal that really matched like the same macros as Chipotle would have been. Just a little more food. So Subway. Eating fresh. Let me show you what I got. This is like my go-to if I go to Subway. And Chipotle and Subway are some of my favorite meals to go out to eat and track macros, because I feel I can track it pretty consistently. So this is double meat. So double turkey, double ham on a whole wheat footlong with a bunch of veggies in here. I got spinach, tomato, cucumber. There's pickles, onion, banana peppers. And then since I got double meat, I got this free cookie, which I didn't know they did. So this is an oatmeal raisin cookie. Not tracking this. This is kind of like just a gimme little dessert. And then here I got some Sun Chips, Harvest Cheddar, which are some of my favorite chips, honestly, to get. And the macros aren't the best, but they're not the worst. So for the whole package, 9 grams of fat, 27 grams of carbs with 4 grams of fiber. 4 grams of fiber, you don't typically find that in chips. And then 4 grams of protein. So for this whole meal, it was $9.73. Typically, if I go to Chipotle, it's about $9 or $10 for a double meat burrito. So pretty equivalent. Just a quick pre-workout meal. So this is a baked French toast, like a mini one. It's only 4 slices of cinnamon raisin bread, 1 egg, a little bit of almond milk, some cinnamon, some vanilla extract, and I just baked it at 375 for 30 minutes. And this morning I had breakfast at the Shopette, which is like a gas station on Post. And I got a Quest bar, some Life cereal, and this chocolate milk. And you know, I didn't sleep for the last 24 hours, so all I saw when I looked at the macros were, for the whole container, 5 grams of fat and 22 grams of protein. Didn't even realize there were 70 grams of carbs in this little chocolate milk. So talk about a waste of 70 grams of carbs for the day. But, oh well, I can work with it. So that wraps up the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this one. Next video should be a recipe. I think I'm going to try a red velvet overnight oats recipe. Haven't tried this one yet, so it's kind of going to be on the fly. So I'll talk to you guys later.